Well, good morning, everybody. For those of you joining live today, and for those of you watching the replay on YouTube, I wanted to thank you for spending time in this dark moon, this time of setting new intentions, of new beginnings. And if we look at the moon cycles, we have the maiden, the mother, and the crone. So the moon cycles reflect the stages of a woman's life. And new moons are all about setting new intentions and new beginnings. And I've been using the moon cycles now for quite some time to honor my energy during the month. During the full moon, it is a time of illumination, a time to be out there, to be seen. And the new moon is a time to get quiet in the darkness of the moon. And our ancestors used to honor this time. It's usually a time when a woman menstruates. So they used to gather in the tents and sit in solitude together, setting new intentions and honoring that time when they were bleeding. But of course, for women who are the crones, for women who no longer menstruate, it still is our time to get quiet and set intentions and to get away from the humdrum of life. We're all healers, carers, therapists, taking care of others. So honor this time as you are today by sitting in the darkness. And we're lucky today in Los Angeles. We have a cloudy day. We had a lot of thunder last night, and I think it's a little easier for us to get quiet and still in the winter because it's usually dark outside and there's not the distraction of sunshine. So honor this time certainly in the winter. And if you look at the moon phases too, the maiden is the springtime, the summer is the full moon, and the dark moon is winter. So hopefully that puts everything into perspective and why we are here. So I am going to ask you just to make sure you have your journal and a pen handy before we start, because I'll be leading you through meditation. And it is also a time to, after the new moon phase, which actually is tomorrow, by the way, it's 4 a.m. On specific standard time. That's when the new moon hits. So we're in the preparation stage. The most magnetic time to set your intentions is within 8 hours of the new moon. So today, consider this as a prep time to set your intentions by being here today in the quiet, letting go of all your responsibilities. Through the meditation, you'll be able to get clear on what you would like to set an intention for the month ahead. And for those of you who've been following me for quite some time now, look back on your intentions that you set last year. I just had an opportunity to look back on mine that I set, and I'm so excited that I was able to bring everything into fruition, everything that I was setting an intention to. So it's a very rewarding experience too, if you set your intentions and using the moon phases to bring you back to your intentions. So if you have your journal handy, and if you have a candle, if not, I will light one for all of it. Again, this is setting the sacred space, the time in which to honor yourself and let go of all your responsibilities, maybe things you have to do later today, that this is your sacred time. So with no disturbances, this time is yours. So I have my candle lit, and also I pulled a card a group intention card before we start, and I'm going to read that to us right now, and I'll read it again as well during the meditation. So this one is titled Burning to Connect. I seek to embrace and connect with others as a means of expanding my capacity to give and receive love. Give and receive love. By loving and connecting openly, I receive the energies of others, which enhance my life. Through these connections, I learn new skills and gain new tools for my practice. That's very apropos for today. So let's talk about Libra. Libra is a sign of harmony and relationship, hence the card. Are there any Libras here today? Anybody have any Libra in any of their signs? Nope. I have my 12th house in Libra, which is very interesting. The 12th house is your North Star. So this is very interesting. Librans are known for their good taste, elegance, and charm. They are seekers of harmony and beauty, and their natural mode of living is in partnership with others. Intimate relationships are most important to them, as is social justice. Librans forever hope that all parties in a conflict will be satisfied. So we know the Libra sign are the scales. So we're looking for harmony and balance. And they have a tendency to understand and support both sides of a dispute, which can drive their friends crazy. Unless they're smart enough to value the mediation that Librans naturally provide. Librans will go out of their way to avoid a quarrel. And they'll find it very difficult to make a decision. Libra rules marriage, partnerships, agreements, sharing, interdependence, fairness, which includes balance, equality, appreciation of opposite viewpoints, negotiation, counseling, and then harmony, peace, beauty, art, decorations, teamwork, giving and receiving support, collaborations, supportive relationships, cooperation, team identity. Sociability, being companionable, tact, getting along with others, one-on-one reactions, diplomacy, I never say that word properly with my English accent, affinity for others. And the shadow side with Librans is codependency, appeasing behaviors, indecision, and aimless debate. I always like to look at the shadow side. So Libra loves balance. Like I said, we've got the scales, and we're being asked to look towards cultivating some peace in our lives. So harmony for some is hard to come by, but we're being reminded with this new moon in Libra that it's essential for our well-being. And partnerships also come into focus during this new moon, and we've been shown maybe as a way to look at disharmony or lack of accountability that may be shown in any relationships right now. This is a call to honor your own self and take a step back for your own good. We can't change people, but we can change our proximity to them, right? Setting boundaries. So this new moon can bring harmony, teamwork, marriage of equality, mutual respect, and heal codependency. And each of the signs fall under a different element. Libra falls under the element of air. And air, if you think about it, is the air that we breathe, the wind carrying seeds of hope, the cold winter chill of air and gale force winds. And also we think of air being new beginnings. And again, it is definitely a time for diplomacy. The air element actually is also, it's a masculine or yang energy. And we all think about it as our breath, which is prana. And also the air sign is very much in their head. So it's a realm of new ideas being fertilized. So what I'd like to do during this meditation is focusing on the qualities of Libra, which are Peacemaker, Idealistic, Craving balance. And we're going to focus on owning your unique essence so that you release the need to compare yourself to others. We're going to think about supportive relationships, so you feel a strong sense of mutual support that results in a win-win situation. So that it's not all about you giving, it's about you receiving as well. And equality and fairness. So you start to feel equal to others, internally balanced and peaceful. Let's take a deep breath in together. And exhale. There's a lot of information there, a lot of heady stuff with this Libra sign. But if you're comfortable sitting or lying, and if your back is strong and supported, with your sit bones rooted down, either on your chair or if you're lying down, and we will begin the meditation. If you want to close your eyes, take off your glasses, whatever you feel comfortable doing, again, so that you are releasing and letting go of all your responsibilities today. And we'll begin. So let's start by focusing in on that breath, that cardinal sign of Libra, which is the quality of air, the breath that we breathe. We are made up of elements connected to Mother Earth. Our blood, the waters of the earth, our breath, the wind, the air, our bones, the earth, and fire, our spirit. And we all know that if we're rushing about our day, we're not breathing deeply, if we're constantly thinking, overthinking, thoughts in our heads, we're not giving ourselves a break, that the breath can help us tune in to being still and present. I invite you to put one hand on your belly, on your creative center, your womb space, and the other hand on your heart. And we're going to fill up the belly with air and then let it travel up through our chest and hold it. And then we'll exhale through the mouth, through the nose, if you're familiar with pranayama breath. And we'll do this a few rounds so that we flood our body with oxygen and that we send energy and breath into our creative center. As women, our wombs are our creative center, whether we've had children or not. Whether we have a womb or not, it still is our creative center, our cauldron, if you like. So let's begin together by breathing in and pushing out the belly. And then let that breath come up into your chest. And then exhale. Breathing in, filling the belly. Holding it. And then exhale. And again. And then exhale. And just observe how you feel right now. Maybe you can still feel that wave of breath entering your belly, revitalizing all your organs. And on the exhale, letting go. And remember, you have these tools to come to during your day. And then I'm going to sing the mantra. Breathe it in, let it out. Breathe it in, let it go. Breathe it in, let it out. Breathe it in, let it go. Breathe it in, let it out. Breathe it in, let it go. So, keeping your eyes closed. Honoring the breath, this new moon in Libra, the sign of the scales, balance and harmony. Owning your unique essence. Thinking about a time when you owned your unique essence. Maybe as a child, where you weren't trying to fit in or conform to other ideas or ideals, where you were truly comfortable owning your unique essence. What did that feel like? You truly honored who you are. We're all born with a divine purpose, whether or not our parents decided to cultivate that. So this new moon in Libra is asking you to own your unique essence and be in harmony. And allowing yourself the playtime for artistic projects away from your day-to-day life, creative expression, whatever that looks like to you. So we'll have an opportunity to journal about this. But for now, I want you to just sit with this. And for those of us who were possibly one of many siblings in a large family, owning your unique essence can be tough. I know, as my mother said, got 5 children, but they're all so incredibly different. So owning your unique essence. And in so doing is by owning your unique essence is not comparing yourself to each other, to someone else, or wondering what they're doing, how are they doing it. I'm feeling you have to be the same, but by owning our unique essence, we can put our own individual spin on our craft. And let's look at supportive relationships. So it's not all one-sided. we've all got one of those friends who likes to talk about themselves and doesn't ask how we are. We want to be there for our friends and family members, but we also want to set boundaries so we feel a sense of mutual support, so that we're there for each other. Again, looking at the scales, the balance. And when I mean balance, I don't mean that nothing is happening, because if you think about the scales, when it is balanced, there's no movement. But I want you to just think that there's equal amount of love and energy that creates a harmony. And looking at these mutually supportive relationships, that there's equal amount of love and attention in our relationships. And we all know we've had to let go of some of those relationships that aren't mutually beneficial. Or we set up boundaries and we lose some along the way because suddenly we're not available. A lot of us who are empaths, we tend to attract people that like to take up the space because we're available. But it's about learning to set boundaries and exiting a relationship or a situation with grace. It's a learned response for empaths. So take that in, breathe that in, and let that go. And then looking at equality and fairness. So the Libra sign loves harmony and mediation and balance and fairness to all parties. So thinking about any situation you may have been in or you're about to go in, where you want to create equality and fairness. Both sides listen to, but coming to an agreement that is peaceful. Equality and fairness. Looking at that right now. Maybe in your life. All right, we're going to focus in on our breath again and fuel those thoughts and ideas, memories with some prana, some breath. Excuse me while I cough. Focusing in on the breath again as we leave this liminal space, the space between the worlds. Filling our belly again. And holding it at the top. And then exhaling. One more time. And as we slowly come back to the to the space, keeping your eyes, the gaze soft. And if you grab your journal and a pen. So this new moon in Libra is asking us to connect with our deepest bliss. And focusing on the simple pleasures in our life, like connecting with our childlike joy, to things that inspire us, with happiness and creativity, and a call to be in the present, live in the moment, and listen to what ignites joy in your life. And in our veins, thinking of the scales again with the balance between possibly obligations and commitments and joy and pleasure in your life. So the first question is, what brings you joy and how can you bring more into your life? And this could be just injecting 5 or 10 minutes in the morning or at the end of the day. It doesn't have to be, creating a whole different dimension in your life, depending on what your current situation is. But again, the question is, what brings you joy and how can you bring more into your life? That's the first question. And we'll spend about 5 minutes on each question. So if you write away, just a stream of conscious writing where you're not editing yourself. This is where all the magic comes in, when you're not editing yourself. want to share in the chat just one word that maybe encapsulates joy for them. Sunshine, nature, the dogs. Yeah, seeing animals play, a reminder to be present. Yesterday I went to the park and watched the leaves fall. Very subtle here in California, but I did witness the falling of some leaves. It was beautiful to see the leaves dancing, falling. It really gets you in the present moment, for sure. So this new moon in Libra is also asking us to stop worrying so much, worrying about the future, especially when we don't have all the answers figured out. So the question is, if you've been worrying, can you take a step back and take a breather until you've got everything figured out? Can you? If you've been worrying, can you take a step back and a breather until you've got all the answers figured out?
Yes.
So write that down. Yes, I can take a breather and a step back until I've got all the answers figured out. And then write about what does that feel like? What does that look like? How does that feel in your body? This new moon is telling us, reminding us about the need for balance, offsetting the stress and seriousness with happiness and joy, right? So that stress and seriousness doesn't like suck us in and take over our lives. I know we all need to have plans for the future and pay attention to what's serious, but we also need to remember that joy brings so much to our lives and for those around us too, through osmosis. So it's about finding a balance between work and play. So just knowing that feeling or having that feeling just from the meditation is remembering what that feels like in your body, how it makes you feel lighter. So just write that down right now so you can remember, and then look back, and as you set your intentions for this new moon, you put into action what you need to do to make sure that you're in that balance between work and play, so that you have the intention, and then your actions will follow through, will help set your intentions into play. If we don't set the intentions, then we just fall back into our old habits. And then our last question. How can I find more balance in my life? What is one small baby step you can take for this new moon? One small baby step. Could be as simple as saying no. Thank you, but no. This new moon can highlight areas that we haven't been taking seriously in our lives, or putting in the work, which causes the stress. And we know that we're in a Mercury retrograde too, which can highlight everything, make things feel disconnected at times, or that connections with others may feel confusing. So this new moon is asking us to take the time to map out where we can connect deeper with joy and creativity in our lives. So just to repeat that question again, how can you find more balance in your life? What is one small baby step you can take at this new moon? I'm going to read that group intention card that I read, that I pulled. I always pull it about 10 minutes before we start. I always ask for guidance when I'm pulling oracle cards. What do I need to focus on? What do I need to learn today? And with us in mind, this was the card that I pulled, and they're always so spot on. So, burning to connect. I seek to embrace and connect with others as a means of expanding my capacity to give and receive love. Give and receive love. By loving and connecting openly, I receive the energies of others, which enhance my life. Through these connections, I learn new skills and gain new tools for my practice. And our new moon poem today by Becca Lee. The moon is a powerful reminder that we can be beautiful no matter how much of ourselves we choose to bear. That we can be cherished even when we change, when we regress, and when we grow. That each of our phases are worthy, but we are most remarkable and unforgettable when we are full and wholly ourselves, just like the phases of the moon. So we can choose to be quiet and have some alone time or time in the dark moon. We can choose to blossom and be illuminated during the full moon. And we also have the waning and waxing stages in between, which remind us to look back on our intentions and say them out loud in front of a mirror or a friend. And then a time to release and let go before the cycle starts again. And there's no mistake that there's 28, 29 days to the cycle of the moon. It's like our cycles within as women. And during our non-bleeding years, we retain that wisdom. It is a time then to give back and be the wise woman. My joy and mission is to honor this third phase in a woman's life, the midlife. Oftentimes this is a time when women recreate themselves and be of service. So I thank you for letting me be of service during these new moon phases so that I can give back and share some wisdom. And also, for those of you who don't know me, I lead Transformational Goddess Retreats. I've got a sold-out one coming up at the end of the month, and we're honoring the archetype of Goddess Hecate, the witch's goddess. A very auspicious time at Halloween. And it's looking at who were the witches. They were women healers, midwives, women that maybe spoke out too much. So if you look back at our history, we wonder why we're afraid to speak out or afraid to be judged, step out in the limelight. It's because of all this deep histories in our DNA. So we're going to be looking at the healing the witch myth, and then looking at Goddess Hecate, Goddess of the Crossroads, the Night Queen. And this is all happening up in Ojai. I'm very excited to be of service again, especially since we've had to reschedule so many times due to the pandemic. But it's finally happening. So I will be sending you some emails during the month as reminders to look back on your intentions, when to say them out loud, when to let them go as we work through the moon phases. And for those of you who are joining next month in November, we have a new moon in Scorpio. Yay! My sign too. And that is November 4th, which is a Thursday. Could also do it on a Friday if Thursday doesn't work. Obviously the new moon changes, so we're working with everybody's schedules, but of course with the recording you can watch it again, or you don't have to watch it live. And then the full moon is in Aries, another air sign, on October 20th. So that's something to put in your calendar. And that would be a time of letting go of your intentions that you've set today, or that you will set tomorrow. The new moon actually happens at 4 a.m. tomorrow. So we're preparing now for the intentions. So if you write out those, prepare them today and write them out tomorrow. That would be the most magnetic time, the 8 hours preceding when the new moon hits. So I hope to see you all next month. And look at your intentions. And thanks again for being here, for devoting this time for yourselves. I look forward to seeing you next month, November 4th.